Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with hilarious comedian Sam Tripoli, the host of the Tinfoil Hat Podcast.
Having the time of my life.
You know, they used to call Bernie supporters tinfoil hats because we said the primary was rigged.
That's why we named the podcast that. It's kind of like NWA. We want to take the words back.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. We were called tinfoil hats because we knew that the primary was rigged. Turns out. So now this is what I want to talk about. So we had this attack, the terrorist attack is what they're calling it. I remember when, Michael, I think somebody else tweeted this out. Michael Tracy said it used to be you had to knock buildings down to take people's rights away. Now all you have to do is rent a truck because immediately you want to take his rights away. They don't want to give him a lawyer. They don't want to give him Miranda warning. Well, here's the possibility of treating U.S. citizens as foreign terrorists has been a constant objective of the government executives since the attacks of 9/11. This, according to global research, by the new prerogative which has been awarded him by the National Defense Authorization Act, that of being able to nullify habeas corpus for U.S. citizens and not just for foreign nationals. So when George Bush in 2006, along with the Democrats, repealed habeas corpus. Let's remember what habeas corpus is. Habeas corpus was put in the Magna Carta because tyrants and despots would often imprison their political opponents, put them in prison, and never charge them, and then they die in prison. And we're like, hey, you got a charge, give me a charge, and you got to give me a trial. So that's what habeas corpus is. And by the way, that was in the Magna Carta. They repealed habeas corpus because of terrorism, and so now we're operating on a liberty view from around the 1100s. Just keep that in mind. That's where we are now in the United States. They repealed the fucking Magna Carta so we can live in a surveillance state right now, which is what we live in. So, and Barack Obama took that and took it one step further. He made it, you could apply that to U.S. citizens. George Bush just did it for foreign nationals. Barack Obama made it okay to do it to citizens, United States citizens. All they have to do, the president says you're a terrorist. They don't have to give you a trial. They don't have to charge you. You don't get Miranda warnings. You don't get a lawyer. They can do anything. They can torture you. They can do whatever they want to you. Right now, all Trump has to do is say you're a terrorist, which this is going to get interesting. So the Obama administration has achieved what the previous government had only planned but never instituted, which is being able to take your right to a speedy trial away from a U.S. citizen. The National Defense Authorization Act, signed by President Obama on the 31st of December 2011, that's New Year's Eve. Why do you think he signed it then? Why do you think he signed it then? Because he wants to have a transparent government and a discussion, or because he wants to screw over Americans and do it secretly? That's who Barack Obama is. Okay, so Barack Obama did that. He authorized the indefinite detention without trial or indictment of any U.S. citizen designated as enemies by the executive. The individuals concerned are not only those, get this, not only those who have captured on the field of battle, you can understand that, but those who also have never left the United States or participated in any military action can have their rights taken away. The law concerns any person designated by the administration as, quote, a member of Al-Qaeda or the Taliban and who takes part in hostile actions against the United States, but also anyone who, quote, substantially supports these organizations. So that means, like, what if you delivered lunch to them one day? Are you substantially supporting them? Well, what about if you're a lawyer? So this formula enables an extensive and flexible use of the law. For example, it would enable the government to lash out at any civil defense organizations who seek to protect the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens who have been designated by the executives as enemy of the state. So if the president says that guy's an enemy of the state and you're a lawyer and you say, I want to defend that guy, and they go, oh, no, you're helping him. Now, you're also an enemy of the state. You don't get any rights. We can send you all to Guantanamo. You think I'm kidding? I have just ordered Homeland Security to step up our already extreme vetting program. Being politically correct is fine, but not for this. This is after the truck attack in Manhattan. And, of course, our good friend Richard Eskow says, after the Vegas shooting, I don't recall Trump calling for extreme vetting of rich white real estate guys who hang out in casinos. Isn't that weird? Also, this is Lindsey Graham speaking with Fox News in just a few minutes about why the terrorist suspect in the New York City attack should be held as an enemy combatant. Glenn Greenwald says, few things more dangerous, radical, or tyrannical than advocating that people arrested on the United States soil be denied lawyers, trials, and due process. I don't think there's anything more radical or dangerous than that, in fact, because that means we don't have a rule of law, and we live in a totalitarian state where all the power goes to the despot. So guess what? Trump floats sending New York City suspect to Gitmo. John McCain said the same thing. He should not be given Miranda rights. So here we are, and these are the people who are supposed to be defending our freedoms and liberties, and of course, they're the ones taking it away. What does this say to you, Sam?
Laws and protections aren't there to protect the ones we like. They're there to protect everybody because it's a slippery slope. You don't know when you become the bad guy. The ACLU protects everybody, even the worst of the worst society.
Nazis, they protect. They protect their rights.
You have to protect the rights of everybody because
Right.
you don't know when all of a sudden the bullseye will be on you.
That is
and then
correct.
you're like, I'm being charged wrong. And you're like, it's ridiculous. Like this whole thing with like, we got to protect the media. And everyone's like, yeah. And then they label WikiLeaks
Yes!
a terrorist organization and nobody says anything.
Nobody says anything.
We need those people to be protected because we need the flow of information. And you can't demonize people that are putting out something other than the official narrative. We must, I don't know why people don't question everything. It's free. It won't charge you. Question it. And if it's right, it will work itself out. We can't just protect the people we like because it becomes a slippery slope. Look at the CIA. Look at the FBI. They investigated Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Told him he should kill himself or they're going to put something out. Don't say because I got nothing to hide. You don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
It's not the
That's
not
a
that you have
great
nothing
point.
to hide. You have to fight back your right to privacy.
People forget that the CIA and the FBI are not your friends, right? That they did terrorize
The
Martin Luther.
CIA started from Nazis. The Nazis weren't destroyed. They just entered an expansion draft in which Russia and us all picked the best, who got the best, and then that's what started.
You know what? You're not wrong about that,
It's
by the way.
totally true. It's called paperclip, I believe. No.
I just read something about the people who did start the CIA. By the way, JFK is famously quoted by saying he wanted to shatter the CIA, and then he got shot.
And he wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
And then he got shot. Isn't that weird? And we still don't know who did it. I bet it was just that one guy hanging from his toes out of a book
With that
depository.
boomerang bullet
Yeah,
that
that
took a
boomerang.
hard right, then came back.
And then it was laying right on the gurney when he went to the hospital. It was laying there unscratched. It was a perfect bullet. Isn't that something?
Unbelievable.
But they'll tell you you're crazy if you deny the official narrative of the Kennedy killing. You're some kind of.
And how many times do we find out that these guys, these radical guys, have kind of been encouraged, if not armed and funded by this? I mean, this guy, I don't know if you remember this in Los Angeles, this guy was going to go shoot up the gay pride parade. And he got caught. And then after interrogation, he basically came out and said that the FBI had encouraged him to go defend Islam.
No kidding.
Yeah, you could look this all up.
Okay, I don't doubt it. I mean, these people forget who these people are, right? So they did terrorize Martin Luther King. They did try to get him to commit suicide. They did try to blackmail him, and they did smear him, and they did all that stuff, and they did allow him to be shot. So there you go. This is scary. So if you don't, again. Why doesn't anybody in the news media why isn't this the headline in the New York Times every day? Still living in a surveillance state. You still don't have any rights. We have no liberty and freedom. We just have a military complex that's taking freedoms away from other people as we kill them, not to ensure our freedoms, because we don't fucking have any. They're already gone. You know, the reason why we're supposed to be able to bear arms in the United States is so we can defend ourselves from a tyrannical government.
100%.
The problem is we still have our guns. The goddamn government took all our fucking rights away anyway, right underneath our nose. So what do we have our guns for anymore if they took our rights away? We have no Fourth Amendment. You don't have any protection. You have no privacy. You're not secure in your papers. They can do whatever they want to you. And then they can throw you in jail without giving you a charge, and they can keep you in there indefinitely. This is not America. Okay, so the reason you have your guns now is just because you like guns, because they already took your freedom and liberty away. And by the way, they took all your wealth away, and everybody's poor in America. It's a shitstorm that people don't think a real revolution is coming, but it is coming. People are fucking sick and tired of it. They voted for Trump, for F's sake. How sick and tired of it do you think people are? Let's remember how bad things are and what people are sick of.
And while the FBI director example gives those with a partisan view against Donald Trump, and it's easy to be against Donald Trump, the obvious fuel to suggest that he's a criminal who's a terrible guy, blah, 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 under investigation, probably true. But if you believe that, then you probably also need to consider that Hillary Clinton was taking money through her foundation to do weapons deals overseas while personally enriching herself, and that Barack Obama is paid off by the private health insurance companies and the banks to make sure that we don't actually have proper health care or a functioning financial system. It's hard to believe one and not accept the other two.
So our enemies are not foreign. Our enemies are domestic. Our enemies are right here. 90% of Americans want some kind of gun control, and we don't get it. That's got nothing to do with Russia. 80% wanted a public option. We didn't get it. That's not because of Russia. That's because of people in the United States working against the people of the United States. 60% of the people want Medicare for all. We don't have it. Why? Not because of the Russians. Oh, they also want free college. We don't have it. Why? Not because of the Russians. We don't have a living wage in the United States. It has nothing to do with the fucking Russians. We just made the banks bigger. We just decided to give $80 billion more a year to the military. That's got nothing to do with the Russians. So you're being really well distracted by the Russians. The enemies of the United States are right in this fucking country, and we already don't have any right to defend anyway. Please make sure you subscribe to our show. YouTube's making it harder for people to find our stuff. Click subscribe and then click that bell next to it, which gives you an alert every time we drop a video. And if you can help support by becoming a patron or a premium member, thank you very much. The next live Jimmy Dore show is November 6th in Burbank, California, and November 12th in Portland, Oregon. Link for tickets right there.